What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video in our Tag Mixer plugin series. You know what? Today I just wanted to start with, remember I talked about wanting to do milestones? That's what we're going to look at real fast here before we get started on this video. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the button, please, and thank you. And I do appreciate you if you do that, and if you already have subscribed, I appreciate you for watching more. So here's the upcoming milestones in our Tag Mixer series. I think this pretty much should get us to the end. I just wanted to kind of give everybody an overview of where it's going to head over the next, I don't know, 10 to 15 videos. So here we go, quick rundown. Today we're going to make a deletion function for deleting our packages that are pre-made because we need to get rid of them. Next video, we're going to actually add the metadata with all the custom rules that's set in that bottom box. So when we start doing like our JavaScript rules, we're going to start saving it as metadata under the packages. Then after that, we're actually going to hook in to the footer of our hook into the after content and just see what our plugin does. We're going to do like maybe some simple font changes and maybe image changes or something like that so that we can get an idea of what our plugin is going to do, and then or see kind of what we've built so far. Then we're going to add an option that lets the user select shortcode or site-wide. This is where we're going to let them decide if they want to run the plugin via a shortcode, or they want to and then pick the pages they want to put it on, so like advertising pages or something, or if they want to just run it site-wide. Then on the fifth one from here, we're going to add more JavaScript written options like image changes, font size changes, blah, 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 because there's a bunch of those options from the dropdown. All we coded so far was font size, so all that needs to be written. And then we're going to add a media selector for images using the WordPress media library. So when a user wants to replace an image, like say that they want to replace a header banner or something, and they want to select a new image to replace with under the new rule, we want to give them the ability to look in the media library that WordPress has so they can upload images directly into WordPress and then select those instead of have to like manually gather the URL. You understand what I'm saying? Like otherwise, like to have to put in the new value of the URL, so they can just select a picture and then all that will be inputted for them. So, which would be way more streamlined. And then another video past that is creating a simple advertisement page so we can test our options. We're going to put in like a simple ad, like we're just going to create like a simple ad page, like a landing page, and then put in all the IDs we want, like a font needs to be changed, words need to be replaced, all that. So we can like, I can show you examples of how it would really help out with landing pages. Then we're going to create a simple documentation page. Maybe I'm going to make a YouTube video for it, but I'm going to show you how to do that in your plugin too, to make a documentation so that users know how to use your plugin. And then we're going to polish it, plugin variables, and the code for the submit. Because even though I kind of built it, I've just been kind of building stuff lazily, like functions, and not naming my variables the way I normally would. Like I said, I use camel casing because I'm from Visual Basic, so I do a lot of that. I haven't been doing a lot of that stuff. Like I said, a long way in these tutorials, I haven't been really focusing on the super specifics of being super proper with this stuff. Then we're gonna I'm gonna do an overview of submitting a plugin to the WordPress repository, kind of like what we can expect to happen. Then we're going to finish up and streamline our plugin plus any security and removing it and making sure that when we remove it, everything gets properly removed. Then we're going to submit it and wait. And we're going to see what WordPress decides to do. Do they accept it? Do they deny it? What's their reason? And then from there, I'll share everything that happens with you guys and see what happens, so you guys can see what happens when you submit a plugin. And then that will be the follow-up, is what it takes to get it in the repository, and then maybe even making a standalone website for it in the end. I don't know. We'll see. So that's going to be our upcoming milestones. But today we're just going to jump right back over here, is, let's see. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this work. The user wants to delete a package and they hit yes. We're going to go ahead and make that work today. That should be relatively quick. So let's just jump back into our Tag Mixer packages page. This is the one that controls the admin page. This is our partials page for that. And right off the crack of the bat, one thing that I did lazily when I built this, and I kind of feel bad about it, is I just said if the user is updating a package, do this, and it's just an is set action. But as you guys know, when we send everything back, it comes back as an action. So this will actually get triggered on every single form in the page that gets submitted. So we kind of should probably fix that. So here's what we're going to do. Here's the easy way to fix that. We're going to actually make a nested if statement, and we're just going to say if, because now we know that the action is set, so now we can say if the action is something in particular, right? So that's what we really should be doing here. So we can run a get, we can just call the get function, and we can say if the action is equal to update, okay? And that's going to then go ahead and run this function. It added two squigglies, we need to take another squiggly to the bottom to encapsulate. All right, so that's going to help us out quite a bit here. I'm also going to give us some space so we can see what we're doing in this. Some space, man. All right. So now this is gonna fire only on the update. It's gonna update because this is the function that we wrote for updating like the source key name and all that when a user submits this right here, like when they update the package name or they change its traffic source, it updates it in the database. So now what we need to do is in that section, now that we have an update, we need to nest one more if statement, and we need to say if the user selected no, or they left it no in the delete package box, run this code. But if they selected yes, then we need to skip all this and run a different set of code. So here's how we're going to do that. So this handles that, and that handles the for each. So we need to make some space after the for each, because we're going to wrap this whole thing inside here into another if statement. And it's going to look something like this. We're going to say if, and this will have to probably be more commented when I submit it to the WordPress database too. That's why the milestone was like updating, streamlining my code, and then updating that to the GitHub so you guys could follow all the changes I made for like making it more professional. Okay, so then we're going to say if get, and in this one, what we're looking for is if we take a scroll down, scroll in, and we go to the drop down that has the yes or no options in it, that would be right, I'm sorry, that was too far. That would be right here. And you see how it has two options, no, default, and yes before you do this? Okay, so we're going to take this no default, and we're going to go back up, and we're going to put that in the, oh no, sorry, not no default, although that's what we're searching for if it equals. Sorry about that. We actually need the name of the box. So if we come back down here, and I should have already had this in another sheet, but I don't. Okay, so delete package name, or delete package key is the name that we gave this field, so it's going to send these two options here. And in fact, I'm probably just going to copy all this stuff up to the top, so I don't have to keep scrolling for it. And then I'll just delete it when we don't need it. So right here in the if get, I'm going to go ahead and just make a comment real quick, so I can just put that in right here, so I won't mess my code. Okay, so we're going to be looking for the package key that's going to send every time this form gets submitted, and if it equals, if that get equals this right here, no default, it's going to fire this code right here where it updates the packages, does the new source, all that. Okay, that's what we wanted to do. So that's going to go ahead and handle that. And if we take a look at this box, it'll show you that that's the if function it's now dealing with. So if that is no, if the delete package key was no, meaning the user didn't change that drop down, this one here at all, they left it just the default, it's going to do it and update the package. Okay, here's where the magic comes in. Now we're going to say else if, we're going to open a whole brand new function, and we're going to say if, however, the user makes a decision, or if they are, sorry, let me grab the whole thing actually, even the parentheses. Okay, so if the user decides that they want to delete it, meaning they selected yes, and they said be sure before you do this option, they didn't care, they threw caution to the wind, they said destroy it. Okay, now we're ready to destroy this this tag mixer package, ready to remove it from the database. Okay, so here's how we're going to do that. And we'll have to come back and update this for the meta as well, but we're just going to get rid of the post itself for the moment. So first we're going to say get all the posts, and we can actually steal that function from right, or that yeah, this call from right here. And in fact, we could probably do this up top and not have to redundantly do it in each one, make this call. I've said this before, but I'll probably streamline it in the end. So now we're getting all the tag mixer packages. Okay, so now we're ready to for each loop them, or no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We actually need to decode or extrapolate the current unique key that was assigned to the selected tag mixer package, and then be able to compare it into a one in the database so we know what to delete, because we don't have the ID of this custom post. Remember, these are being saved as custom posts, and every custom post has an ID, but we don't have that ID. I didn't put it out in the box, so the only thing we have to identify this is this right here. That's the unique key that this page generates every time it reloads, so that every single package will have a unique key. And we'll add error checking. That was a future milestone video to make sure that we don't get any duplicates added. So this is what it's going to be searching for right here. Now, as you can see, I created a delimiter, which is a space, a forward slash, and a space, a forward slash, and a space. So we can actually delimit that and then pull out this item right here, compare it to the existing post that's being looped, see if they're the same, and then get the ID of that post and delete it. I hope that was straightforward. We're going to do it right now. So here's how we do that. So I'm going to start naming these proper camel case. So let's call this stir needle, and we're going to say explode. I know, which sounds really like, doesn't sound like a function that would do this, but it does. Just take my word for it. So first thing it wants is the delimiter. Explode is a PHP function that basically blows up a string and splits it based on a delimiter you give it. In this case, it's a space and a forward slash and a space. And then what we want to get is the input that the selected item from that box. And what I mean is the selected item the user selected from the existing tag mixers box, because this one gets sent through. This whole string gets sent through as a get variable because the user selects it. So how do we get that? We scroll down to that form and we grab its name. So, and we look for the second class, the collapse 2. Now we could make our life a lot easier by doing this, I do admit. See, like this is the collapse 1 and this is the collapse 3. We could make our life a lot easier by doing this. I could make my scrolling quite a bit easier. So in collapse 2, if we want to reopen that, we're looking for the drop down right here, and that's existing mixers. So that's the name of the select box that we want. So back up into here, we're going to put that in the get variable. Okay, so now it's going to get that variable, and that variable is going to contain all of this information right here. So what we need to do is we now need to explode that string. So now we have a string broken up as stir needle. And stir needle is going to have 4 slots because it's going to say number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, because remember, it's using a split function that's using this as a delimiter, the space forward slash space. So it's going to remove that. It's not going to be in the final result. It's going to create an array that has these 4 items in separate boxes. But remember, programming starts at 0. It doesn't start at 1. It starts at big 0. Okay, so that means that Lowe's is item 0. This unique code we need is at item 1. Google AdWords is at item 2. And GadWord is at item 3. That's 4 total items, including the 0. So we need to get item number 1. So we need to compare item number 1 against the current post. Okay, well, how do we do that? Well, we need to compare it in the for each in a for each loop. So here's how we're going to do that. So let's actually comment this and say get the current unique package key. So now we have the unique package key. Then what we need to, well, it's in item number 1 in that array. Now we need to say loop through and find the post that contains this key and delete. And delete. Okay, so here's how we're going to do that. We're going to say for each. And then in the for each, we're going to do the packages, because that's all the, all the packages. That's the, up there, as you see it just a couple lines above, that's getting all the posts as, and let's just call this like exp key or something like that. Okay, now we're ready to hunt through and do what we need to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a stir lock, which we're going to locate and see if we can find the string in the current package being searched, custom post being searched. So we're going to use a PHP function called stirPause. And what stirPause is it's essentially just a string search function that searches a string and looks for a needle in that string, meaning like a string within a string, and then gives us a return of a location if that string is contained within. It'll say, yes, I found, like the word in hello world, I found the word world. And so, yes, I found it. So, and then it returns a true or false or a number letting us know that the string has been found. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to say, and oh, by the way, if you look at this, it says, look, first one is the find the position of the first occurrence. This is the haystack. This is the string we're searching, is the first parameter it wants. It wants the string being searched. So the string being searched is exp key. That's the current post we're looking at. And we need post content, because that's where we stored the unique key. If you go back above in our previous video, you'll see that's where we stored that unique key. Then the needle it's looking for is, this is why we named this stir needle. You access an array by square brackets, and item number 1. Remember, I just talked about that. There's going to be 4 items. Well, item number 1 is going to contain this because of how we exploded the string. Remember, when a user selects all these options, selects yes, then updates this, it goes through get, so it all travels to the URL. So this box is accessible, this is accessible, this is accessible, and this is accessible. So we're gathering this from this box based on its name, exploding the string, and then getting the item in item slot 1, which will contain this. Then we're comparing that against the post content of the current post being looped out of all the tag mixer packages we gathered. Okay? It's fair enough? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run an if statement to say, check if this is the post. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to say if stir lock, actually I need the $, stir lock is not equal to false. Now, there's something interesting I need to pause here and say. Okay, why would we say if it's not equal to false? Stir pause returns a integer variable of where the post is, or if it finds the string inside the other string. Okay, well, there's an issue with that inherent in this code, meaning that in the post content, the only thing it contains is the unique key. Do you see the problem? That means that it's going to appear at item 0. Okay, if you have the string hello world and you look for the word hello and programming starts at 0, where do you think that it finds the position of the first word hello? At 0. Because it says, oh, there it is immediately first thing in the string, but I start at 0. So I found the word, and it starts at 0. So if you say, if the stir pause is greater than 0, it won't fire your code because it's confused. Even though it found the string, it found it at item 0. So it won't fire your code. I've had this happen to me a lot in my past and been very frustrated going, why is it not working? It's right there. Well, there's a different way around this, which is you check for true or false. And even if it finds it at 0, it will return it at true. So what we're doing is we're saying if the stir location is not equal to false, meaning it found it. Well, now what we have to do is call a WP delete post. And then all we need is, this takes 2 parameters. The first one is the ID. And as you guys know, we're headed through a set of posts right now. So all we need is the ID of the current post we're cycling, because that's the one that was founded, and we want a force deletion as true. Just hard brute force deletion as true. Okay, let's check this out and see what we got. So technically, we should be able to, I'm just going to refresh this page actually. So technically, we should be able to select this and select yes, and it should delete. Okay, so we did it. So that's essentially where we're going to wrap this video up. I mean, that's all it needed. It was able to successfully find it and delete it. So like I said, that was all it took. And I went ahead and added just some extra code too to not make this code fire on every page action. I'm actually going to get rid of this now too. Make our code a little more streamlined again. So now we have a couple of, I cleaned up the action section, so now we can add more actions and it won't fire this code every time there's any action, because as you guys know, all these other forms are going to contain an action like load packages, update rule, add new package, and so it's kind of redundant. It was trying to fire that code every single time. So that's it. We added this else if statement and we checked to see if the user is trying to delete. We got what we rolled through. Got all of our custom posts for this type into a variable. We exploded the user's selected one so that we could do it. I just explained all this in depth, but that's what we're doing. Then we're looping through all of those posts. We're checking to see if the one's current content is equal to the needle we're looking for, and then we're deleting. That's it. So I'm going to wrap it up right there, guys. I don't know how long this video is. Probably like almost 20 minutes or something like that. But anyway, so that's going to go ahead and check off item 1 in our list here. I'm going to try to keep using this list every time. I think there is a check box over here, or a check mark right here. Perfect. Okay, so we're done with video number 1. And by the way, this program is called FreeMind, if you're wondering. It's just a mind mapping program that's free, open source for desktop for Windows and Mac. But anyway, okay, so that concludes our first video in this milestones. In the next one, we're going to go and start adding custom metadata. That means we're going to come back in here and we're going to start dealing with this part, which is we're going to select a package and we're going to load package rules. And there's not going to contain any, so it's going to tell us it wants us to create some. And then we're going to create some and we're going to save the new package rules, and then it's going to create metadata for that custom post, and we're going to be able to load it, save it, and then now we actually have a set of rules we can start outputting on our advertising pages and check it out. And that's why in the video after that, we're going to actually hook the content with a really simple with a really simple set of rules and just make sure it's working, and then we can start building on the blocks there. So hey, if you aren't subscribed, you guys know what to do at this point, and I appreciate that you do. And for anybody that gets value out of this, I hope that it's really helping you out. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask me in the comments. I usually respond to everybody. If they have a question for me, I'll really go in depth to help you out. And other than that, hey, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one where we start playing around with some metadata.